Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from Foundation Arena, we have episode number 56. Brad, how you doing today, sir?
Good, dude. It's a little later than our normal filming time, but all good. Sly Guy's the man. Thanks, Silas, for editing on late notice for us today. But, you know, we have a very special guest I'm very excited for next week. So this week we decided to do maybe a little update. It's been quite a few episodes since we talked about my bag and how it's evolving. And then we have a fun little, I guess, challenge game, if you will, for us at the end of the episode that some viewers recommended or suggested we do. So we're pretty pumped to try that. And I'm very sorry for last week's episode's audio. My apologies. I just got like way up in the mic. So hopefully it's better today. You can't hear every breath that I take, every move I make, but I'm still watching you. So thank you.
Such a good reference. I love a good subtle song reference worked in. Love a good movie quote worked in. I love watching movies and whatnot, and we are having my birthday party this weekend, and we're doing an outdoor movie in the in the yard. And Lindsay was like, "What do you want to watch?" And I was trying to think through like quotable movies, and a bunch of my friends have never seen The Other Guys with Wahlberg and Will Ferrell, and so I realized like I end up quoting that movie quite often, and therefore we're just going to introduce a lot of my friends to it, so it's going to be fantastic. But
that's amazing.
Love a good quote, and I also love Flippy Disc Golf for being our hosting sponsor of In the Bag. So Flippy Disc Golf, for the visual watchers, you can see I'm wearing one of the Robbie C prints, the birdie pattern, and we really do appreciate what Flippy does. The material they have, absolutely incredible. Whether you want the cotton material because you play in a not humid area, and it also is a very comfortable shirt to just wear in general, or if you want to, maybe you find yourself in a more humid area like I'm living in down here in Alabama, like Brad's experiencing up in Virginia. And the Sol Pro material, it's dry fit with UV protection built into it. So you don't have to worry about being out in the sun for long periods of time. And so really beautiful. Love it. There is a ton of patterns that they have added, especially with the addition of the Sol Pro line. So you go on head over to flippydiscgolf.com to check it out.
Yep. Thanks, Aaron. We appreciate all that you do for us and Foundation. So yeah, make sure you check it out. Link is in the description. Check out the new Robbie C collection. For visual watchers, he's wearing the nice birdie shirt right now. So just makes you want to play Wingspan, Robbie. That's all that shirt makes me want to do.
Hey, I get it. And the beautiful part is that if that makes you want to play Wingspan, it's not the only like tabletop feeling one inside the collection. So
exactly.
Super, super cool. Beyond grateful for it. Beyond grateful for the opportunity. Another person I'm really beyond grateful for, today's guest, Mr. Brad Jones.
Hello.
Welcome to In the Bag, Brad. Have you ever listened to an episode before?
Not a one. I really can't stand the co-host with all the tattoos. He thinks he's so cool. So,
it's because he is.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But no, I'm happy to give a little update. Well, Robbie's going to kind of lead the conversation. Just some things have changed in my bag. Some things haven't. I mean, you'll see some stuff maybe shifting around, Robbie. And I sent Robbie a link this morning right before this. Hey, in the same fashion that you usually send me the link, I sent you right before. So he has just glanced at this, and you'll probably see some areas clearly where I'm trying to like figure some spots out, what I like and what I don't like.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm excited to walk through that. And like I said, we're going to play a fun game at the end. So I'll leave it to you, Robbie. What do you think?
So I love it. I can definitely see the evolution of when Brad first came on. He was not a mid-range thrower in the slightest. And that's, I think, especially because are you still fan gripping mid-ranges, or are you like you're power gripping everything? Okay.
Pretty much. I mean, depending on like what power, I'm learning when to fan grip and when not to fan grip, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I remember when you first started, it was like even some fairway drivers you were fan gripping, right?
Yeah, right. Yep, I definitely was doing that, and not so much anymore. I'm really making a conscious effort to do that like semi loose but stable, like front loaded grip, and it's helping a ton.
Okay. Yeah. So the the beauty being like there's definitely been some evolution there. And now that Brad is a big mid-range thrower, it's very fascinating because looking at his bag, we have, I would say, a very clogged area in his mid-ranges right now, which is where if you go from, a lot of you maybe experience this, listeners, as like, okay, I throw in the 250 mark, 250 to 300. And so I have a lot of like fairway drivers that are, when you finally accept like, okay, fairway drivers are going to be my distance drivers for a little bit. And you lean into that, suddenly that area gets really clogged because it's like, oh, I know that this is changing. Therefore, since I'm throwing these a lot, I'm just putting all these different molds in my bag to try and test it out. So I feel like, Brad, you're in the mid-range age of enlightenment.
Yes.
So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I can see a couple of them, brand new discs that y'all got to the warehouse as of this past week. So there is also some competition there.
Yeah, and the way I'm looking at it too, there's definitely like disc maybe a little closer together than normal, but again, I'm seeing the difference in flight now where I'm being a little bit more consistent, and I'm also throwing mids much farther than I was. So, and then if I was adjusting, I try not to adjust any flight numbers on this chart, Robbie. I did with that one NV because you've seen that NV. It's not an NV. So it is what it is. But like even the uplink, if anyone's looking at the chart, if you look at my putters, I don't really have like a super like understable putter per se. But if I need like a really understable shot that's slower, I'm just going to fan grip the uplink. Like that's what I'm kind of using the uplink for. So it's kind of like migrating down a little bit. The Lobster's a new addition. The Lobster is in Sublime, and I'd actually maybe put it a tick more stable than where it is right on the chart. And then I haven't thrown the Dune, full disclosure. I just got it. It's going to make the bag for a while to see if I like it, just because I'm trying to test it out. And then again, the Hex, it's a fission one, so I'm going to give it like a tick more stability. Nebula's right on, and then my Bobcat has a tick more stability. So there's maybe like a little bit more gapping in it than I think, or than it looks like, but definitely like that Dune, Lobster, Hex area is a little clogged because I'm like, what do I want to lean into? Because when I do, I will definitely like select one of them probably, and then just take the other ones out.
Yeah, and I mean it makes sense. Like with the Dune having literally brand new. Y'all got them like on Wednesday or something like that. I got my Dunes in the mail yesterday, and someone was asking me how I felt about them, and the similar vibe to when we were talking about it before the. I got to throw when we were up at Northeast Disc Golf Expo in Boston in March. Jesse had Dunes with him. So I got to throw it there, but I only got to throw it a couple times. And it was like a weird environment every time of there was always people around. Yeah. So it was like, hey, man, you want to throw this Dune? And I was like, heck yeah, bro. But then there's like 5 other people watching, and there is a pressure regardless of, okay, A, I have to throw a good shot, and B, like, I got to make sure we hype this thing up because my boy Jesse is standing right here. And like, this is literally first initial marketing. Like he took them off the press, put them in the bag, and then got on a plane. So I don't know if I got like a proper feel for it or not. So also I'm going to test mine. I'm going to test mine today in comparison against my Origins. So
that'll be a good comparison, because I think the Lobster's safe from the Dune, but I don't know that the Hex is. We'll just see. And then it may look like, hey, the Dune, because I watched Hunter throw the Dune, right? And if you all have seen that on social, if you haven't, check out our disc review channel. But the way Hunter threw it, it definitely turned for him. And depending on if he threw a little nose up or, it was like just pretty dead straight. So I figure it'll probably, even if I hit it perfectly, for me, it'll probably just like very straight. That won't turn, but probably won't fade a ton either. So it probably will hit more toward the neutral. So I'm hoping the Lobster and Dune don't really clash, because I really love the Lobster.
Yeah. And watching you throw the Lobster on social looks like a beauty. I'll be very curious for the Dune and the Lobster when both of them beat in. Like seeing what happens to because that recycled plastic honestly had a little more durability than I gave it credit for. But the other thing about like that we need to know as consumers of trash pan a product is that the reason Jesse is very adamant about putting the stamp of when it was run, like that little embossed piece is not really a stamp, but that little like arrow calendar thing on the bottom is because since he's getting regrind for every bit of his discs, like there's going to be inconsistency from Dune to Dune because it's just straight up going to be different plastic. Like, yeah, you're going to get inner cores that were blue, and that was all the same plastic. All right, great. They had so much of it. Now you get a green inner core. There's a very real chance that it's going to fly a tick less stable or tick more stable, just depending. So speaking of inner cores, that's a big change that you've got in your bag is you have new putting putter.
Yeah. And thanks, Gordon, for these sweet dyes. But yeah, so I made the change. I finally, I was with Roaches, the same pair of Roaches for almost 3 years. And when the base plastic inner core came out, I mean, they just feel so good. And I just want to change, I just wanted to change. And it just felt like the right move. Again, just following Jesse and his journey. Even before I was even in disc golf, I was a fan of Jesse and I watched his channel. So I just wanted to give him a good, honest try. I'm still working out some kinks. I got to spend a lot more time with him. What I underestimated was how much like putting time I'd put on those Roaches. And even though like the biggest thing for me is even just like how I hold these, like instead of holding them like my finger here toward the top, I'm holding more toward the bottom, and that's affecting my spin when I come out. And then also these are more just like very neutral. And I didn't give the Roaches, even for as beaten as they were, like the credit for the like the tick of stability they had when I was putting. So I've changed. I realized this yesterday, and I've changed like my aiming link in one, and I was draining them all day yesterday. So hopefully that fixes it. But Jesse, just the good guy he is, he sent me a pair of red inner cores and base plastic. So I can't wait to put those guys in the bag. But yeah, I'm loving it. I took the premium one out of the bag. I was using it for more of an understable putting putter or throwing putter. Yeah. And I just found myself either grabbing this beat-in envy that I have or going to the uplink. So it just was in there for no reason other than being in there. So I actually took it out.
Okay. Another new addition that I'm seeing, the Zone OS, is in the bag. So what I'm most curious for is, I know you talk about the Bobcat being a tick more overstable. So what are situations that you're finding you're using the Zone OS versus the Bobcat?
So for instance, I'm sorry, I played like the worst round of disc golf maybe in my life the other day on camera. So I'm sure you can relate to that as far as just like, that's something I'm not used to. Like I know you and like Hunter and Trevor, like Connor, Silas, that are in the front of the camera more often. You're going to see both very good and very bad. I've only been played on a few times on camera, and I just like, I was just terrible. Like it was the worst. We played Safari Golf at Falling Creek. If you're not a Patreon member, you'll be able to see my terrible playing if you are a Patreon member. So 30-day free trial, go check it out. It's worth watching me. Robbie's known me long enough, like I don't really lose my temper, but I chucked one of my inner cores like the opposite way after I doinked like the 5th putt in a row. So it was a bad day. Anyway, I say all that to say the Zone OS is what I like about it is my regular zone right now is still an overstable beefy zone, but the Zone OS, it's deeper and I can actually like backhand it comfortably. So I like that. So I almost treat it as like a super overstable mid-range. So, and I'm comfortable throwing a flex line with it, which is nice. And then in that round, I had this weird like shot where I had to get to the green. It was very downhill, but if I took a wide right, like over top of the tree spike Hyzer, it made it a little bit more obtainable for me. I didn't have to worry about like overshooting it. And I also had that like the nice part of the zone about like hitting and kind of laying down versus trying to chuck a driver. It hits on its side and it rolls away.
Yeah.
So it's more utility than anything, but I kind of made fun of it. I was like, oh, why would anybody bag a Zone OS? It's so overstable. I mean, obviously Brody can throw it, but why would I do that? But after I tested it around the warehouse and have spent some time with it and backhanded it mostly, it really just kind of has a nice slot. And I actually do use it, which is kind of crazy. So,
Huh. Okay. Yeah. I respect it. I think that is there are utility discs that definitely have that, oh man, when I get to the right place, it is perfect for this shot. And so leaning into that can be absolutely huge. Another disc that I think I'm pretty confident it was in your bag last time we did a review, but now you have two of them because they came out with a different plastic. The FD. I think we had C line FDs were out, like the new C line FDs were out, and you were loving it.
Yeah.
S line's out. What has that added to your bag?
The S line, again, if I was like adjusting like how these fly for me versus the chart, the FD, the C line, or sorry, the S line is just like very, very, very straight for me. Like it's the farthest flying disc in my entire bag is this the S line FD. I can throw a Hyzer flip shot with it. It's like I'm very confident in that shot with the S line FD. It goes very far. It'll actually turn a little bit for me, but kind of stay pretty like straight for the whole flight. It won't really like fade out too hard on me either. It just kind of goes very, very far and very straight. Now the C line FD, it's heavier and it's a little bit more beefy, but the hand feels the same, and I still can throw it pretty far for a fairway driver. So as I play in more wind and need more overstability, I'm trying to work that back in because I took the C line out, put the S line in. Now I'm putting them both in to try to work together.
Okay. And so Grackle being like just a more reliable version of the C line.
Yeah. Because if the C line, let's just say I like accidentally release on a little too much anhyzer, it's still going to turn. Like the Grackle's not really going to turn for me. So the Grackle gives me like some comfort, like you said, knowing that if I make a mistake, it's still going to go left. I don't have to worry about like the wind so much with it. It's probably, even though like the FD is the farthest flying disc in my bag, the Grackle's the one I'm reaching for the most if I need to have like a reliable disc golf shot. Is like that's my Grackle I'm going to grab every time.
Okay. So the Glory, I think the Glory is also new in the bag since last time we chatted. So I'm very curious. Glory, and I'm going to lump three discs in together: the Glory, the Phoenix, and the Thunderbird. And honestly, we'll pull the PD in there as well because I feel like the new C line PDs are beef.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do, that's actually an area I'm working on to try to figure out what I like. That's probably the biggest areas. I feel like my approach in throwing putter game is kind of where I want it. My mid ranges, although there's like kind of a little bit of overlap.
Yeah.
It's where I want it. I'm just deciding which disc I'm going to keep, which I'm not going to keep at this point.
Totally.
And then like the fairways with like the Jackalope, FD, Grackle, that area I'm very comfortable with. But I'm starting to see why overstability is important, and I'm trying to find the discs that I like that I still can throw well, but are still usable for me. Again, I love a 7-speed disc, so we have a new series called Warehouse Guys Throw Discs So You Don't Have To, and the Glory was on that. And that'll come out soon. But I got to throw the Glory, and I was like, wow, this feels like kind of like my Vulture a little bit, but slower. And I felt like I threw it a lot smoother without having to try to kill it, and gave me pretty much the same flight as like a Thunderbird or Vulture.
Okay.
So, and I know it's like pretty overstable, and I probably won't throw it a ton. But again, thinking about wind or weather, or like if I need like a more distance shot, but I need to like throw like a flex line or something that really needs to come back. I want to have a disc in that like 7-speed area that I can grab for that type of shot.
Okay. So the Phoenix, the Thunderbird, the PD, and honestly, even the Vulture, all fighting for that same like flex overstable slot.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the sad truth. The Vulture probably is on limited time, if I'm being honest. It's not a vulture. It's beat. And if I went and grabbed a vulture now off the shelf, I probably wouldn't put it in my bag. It's just not. Other than the familiarity of like the hand feel, which is again, it's important. It's not really doing a whole lot for me. I'm using it less and less, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So it's probably on its way out. Thunderbird, I'm just trying to lean more into the Thunderbird and maybe give it that slot as like more of a 9-speed area. The Phoenix, I'm only using on thumbers, like exclusively.
Okay.
So I just like the flight of it on a thumber. It's just that overstability that I can guarantee it's going to come and do what I need it to on a thumber. It's a straight utility disc for me. And then the PD is kind of, again, it's just basically a faster glory, right? That's kind of the way I looked at it. I know they're very beefy, but again, throwing a couple of the episodes we did with overstable, like distance and fairways,
Yeah.
just seeing the utility of that, not just as a utility disc, but the different shots and applications you can have. Again, playing in wind and weather is important. I felt that the other day at Fallen Creek. I just didn't play the wind well. And I should have leaned more on these other discs, and I just haven't spent the time with them, but I see why people have them in their bag.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when that was one of the more shocking things to me when I was working with Brody at Music City and playing a practice round with him, Ezra and Holland, is they're stepping up on 280-foot shots and they're all throwing cap wraps on that shot. And I'm thinking to myself, why are you like going to the cap wrap there? Because literally all of you have Raptors in your bag, like, and the Raptor does that shot. So why are you letting yourself? And it is the guaranteed at that level of I'm going to put this out left on a forehand and it's going to crash back right. Guarantee, like it's going to happen. So I think there is a world, especially for amateurs, where we can lean too much on that of like really trusting the overstability too much and letting it hide some of our flaws in our throw. But at the same time, once you are starting to dial in or the wind's kicking up, you're right. Like there is something, there's a comfort in being able to say, I'm going to take this PD, I'm going to throw it out right. It's going to come back left, check, versus, all right, I'm going to grab my C line FD and I know I'm going to get more distance out of it, but like,
yeah, it's a dice roll where it's going to land. And and that's just not where I want to be. So again, there's a lot of like, I'll be honest, I was like a little embarrassed when I put this all on a chart. I'm like, there's a lot of stuff fighting now, but I think that's just a natural progression of the bag, right? I mean, as new discs come out and new things come into the warehouse, I'm going to continue to experiment and, look around. But as I see stuff like that, PD is also used. So it's probably like a little less overstable than a brand new one. So again, as I learn them, if I like it, I'm like, okay, well, let's look at different plastics. Let's look at different things. Cause I mean, and there's a couple discs in here that are just like 100% sentimental that I don't even really throw, if I'm being 100% honest. This Stratosphere was given to me by a guy that listens to the podcast. Shout out Sean. It was just very meaningful. He wrote like this very nice note on the back of it for me. And I don't know, I just love it. It feels good. I've thrown it. If I can throw it pretty well, it's probably too fast for me at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know, just a nice little reminder that like I'm in a cool position. I can be grateful. And there are people out there that are grateful for what, we do. And I don't know, it's sentimental. I just like it. And this other one, Wes gave to me, shout out Wes, this Thunderbird. Again, I'm trying the Thunderbird out more, but again, it's a cool Mandalorian die. He gave it to me. So it stays in the bag because it's meaningful.
Yeah. And I get that. I absolutely understand it. The last one that I want to talk about, you got a sail. You're part of the sail crew.
Well,
the sailors, some might say.
Yeah. Shout out Mikey. And Josh. Yeah, this is an overthrow sail. It's pretty light. And after the episode we did with the sail, I was like throwing down rollers and I could actually do it now. And I was like, wow, I can actually sort of have that shot in my bag. So I bagged this now for that. I threw pretty decent roller on camera the other day too. So
Okay.
in the wind. So it wasn't my best throw, but it wasn't my worst throw, and it's just a shot I have now. So that is strictly what this disc is for.
Okay. I
How
love
many
it.
times am I going to throw a roller? Probably not a lot, but at least I can. It's in my bag.
But hey, never underestimate, because I also use my sail for rollers, but then we end up in scenarios like we've talked about on this podcast before of, oh man, I threw a horrific shot into the woods and now I got to throw this big turnover.
There you
The
go.
sail makes this very easy.
Mhm.
And if I didn't have the sail on my bag at that point,
Mhm.
that's been something as I have gone back to putting race in my bag. Because as form changes, I'm not going to say my form changes are anywhere near being done, but
Mhm.
I'm starting to like at least find some consistency of, okay, I can taste the sweet nectar of success ahead of me. And so
Yeah.
I've put race and destroyers back in, and I have a super flippy wraith in my bag.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, yes, this could possibly replace my sail, but I just don't know. So
Yeah.
I'm leaving the sail in there. Another like theory that I think for those of you who find yourselves testing a lot of discs, I know Brad mentioned as he put it in the chart, like there is, oh man, there are a lot of discs fighting right now. I think you can approach it from two different ways, and I do not think either of them are wrong. I think you can put all the discs that are competing in there and work through it, and throw with them, play with them in rounds. I would encourage when you're doing that, try to throw multiple shots during your rounds and things like that, because that's really going to help you get that test and that vibe. And then the other way is to give each of them like a trial 1 or 2 weeks at a time, where okay, if the Vulture and the PD are fighting right now for that faster glory spot, awesome. I'm going to put the Vulture in my bag for 2 weeks. Then I'm going to take it out and put the PD in for 2 weeks. And then that's going to possibly give me some insight. And then if I'm like, oh, wait, no, I think it might have been the Vulture, go back to it for 2 weeks. I am personally trying to find what's landing in my 7-speed slot and my overstable 9-speed slot. So Brad hooked me up with some felons, and oh my gosh, I forgot how much I love felons, because I love Firebirds and I rely on that overstable 9-speed slot a lot. But I just took my Firebirds out, put the felons in, and I'm trusting that. And then the same thing with 7 speeds of whatever I want. Evaders, it's evaders, Velas, and stalkers are right now what's like competing for that slot. And I have the stalkers in there right now because one of the stalkers I got was stupid overstable, so it's doing just fine, and one of them is like straight right off the gate. So I'm taking that approach, but once again, I think you can take it either way. I would say it comes down to how much you're playing. Like Brad is playing on a regular basis, I'm playing on a regular basis. But I'm playing a lot. I'm going to guess I play a lot more solo rounds than you do, Brad.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I don't play as much as I'd like to. I'm lucky if I get one round in a week. So that's probably why there's a lot of this like overlap, because I haven't really got to spend time with it, and I do want to be fair, but yeah, and yeah, I don't play a lot of solo rounds. I mean, almost never.
Yeah, because it's whether it's you and Kimberly or with the kids, like there's always someone around. So there's a time, whereas I'm going to a TJ Kids clinic this afternoon, but before I go there, I literally am taking my dunes out and I'm playing a dune round. So like that is awesome.
And I think that's why I fell in love with the Lobster. I did actually get a chance to play a Lobster only round. I played like 5 or 6 holes. Nico and a buddy has came over to my house and on my home course, and I was just going to let them play. They're like, "Oh, you can come play." So I didn't really have my bag, but I had the Lobster in my truck, and I played, and it was great. And I think it really made me feel comfortable with the Lobster very quick, because I had to learn it. I had to make sure I knew what did what. So that's probably something I would do more now that I've actually done a one disc only round. I haven't done too many of those.
Yeah, it really highlights what you love and don't love about a disc. But yeah, so Brad, final thoughts, I would say, on the recap of your bag. What would you say? What disc would you say is the most surprising that it has like influenced your bag?
I mean, I think the whole section, I mean, my whole mid-range section is like, I don't know. I feel like it's a highlight of me like growing a little bit finally in disc golf because again, I mean, even 5 months ago, I had like 1 or 2 mids in my bag.
Yeah.
And now I think it's highlighting my form, my ability to throw different types of shots. And then really the confidence of the FD really has turned a corner, has helped me turn a corner because it showed me I can throw smooth distance. It showed me the importance of that front loaded grip that you taught me. And it's like it kind of opened up a gateway of like, okay, the S-Line FD is my like base of what I should be able to throw. So now let's try to expand on that and build around that. I feel like I build my bag around a specific disc a lot because I'm like, okay, I like this disc. It is 100% in this spot. What goes around it?
Yeah. I genuinely think that is a fun way to build a bag that a lot of people do not embrace. I think that a lot of people build their bag around an ideal of what a disc should do rather than, all right, you throw that S-Line FD, bank. I don't care what the flight numbers are. This is how it's shaping for me. And so adjusting accordingly. So guys, what we want to do is we want to have a fun little game here that we're going to play. And ideally, I think how we're going to interpret this game, this is going to be version 1 of this game, we'll say. And we will, we're going to modify this based on how it's received with you guys. We are going to do a bag draft and let you guys, we didn't talk about this before, but I think maybe we'll throw it out on like a Twitter poll or like an Instagram poll or something and let you guys say, hey, or even you can vote in the comments, which bag would you rather have, kind of a deal. We're going to build a bag, but we're going to open this up to literally any mold that's out there. Like you love the RPM cacao or something like that. The Huia. Huia, there it is. It's like I'm still butchering it, and we're 7 days later. So, you can pull anything out that you want to recommend. The way the draft's going to work, we're going to go. I would say we're just going to go back and forth, and then once someone drafts a mold, though, the other person can't have limits.
Yep, it's done.
And let's say,
we'll alternate probably, right?
What's that?
We'll alternate. So so we'll change up who goes first. So we don't draft all the good ones.
Yeah, well, I think the beauty is like if we just snake draft it, right, where it's like bang, 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 like first person picks one, and then you get the number 1 pick in the draft, and then you're basically picking 2 every time. And I don't think that you have to go like down the list if you don't want to. Like,
ooh, okay,
how's that for that way? A little strategy switch up. You don't have to be like, oh, I get first pick on understable putter, and so
I like it.
If you're like, oh man, I'm going to build my bag around the S-Line FD. And if you want to throw a plastic type in there, you can. But like, if you say S-Line FD, I can't take C-Line FD, kind of a deal.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That'll be more fun.
So we're going to do that, y'all. The inspiration for this is that if you guys love it and think it's fun, someone in the comments, Brad, I'm going to go ahead and make a vow here that our listeners can hold on to. Okay. I'm going to start using my notes app to really, when I see cool comments, because we do go back and read all the comments. We don't always respond to them, but like we try to, and really we read all the comments because we are trying to get the feedback. We appreciate you guys listening. We read the reviews, but I want to start like doing a better job personally of, Joey 873 said, hey, this was an idea, or things like that. So I want to really do a better job. So that's my vow, Brad, that I am making to the people.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to vow to respond more to comments.
Okay.
Because I appreciate people and I want to let them know that I appreciate them.
Hey, come on. Well, there's your vows, guys. As your hosts, we are we really do appreciate your input. And so we'll say Joey873, if you exist, is the one that recommended this, said we should do a bag draft like this, but only with discs that we've put in the mail.
Oh, that's fun.
So, because we're at least 56 episodes in. So we have a lot of options. And so I think that if we did that, and then what we'll do is we will draft it. And then next trip I'm up, or if it works out, next trip, like it may not be on this trip. It may be the November trip or something. But next time we're together, we will play with our drafted bags.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And hey, if anyone that listens to this show, if you would like to go back and listen to all the episodes and put in a little spreadsheet, if you will, on the disc we recommended per episode, or the disc we threw per episode, and then what we end up recommending, that'd be extremely helpful. If not, we'll do it. That's fine. Yeah.
How about
if you're fun, you can do it.
How about as a thank you, they can pick a disc maybe off the website of their choice? Like if someone goes back and does it, are we going to put a price on it of like a thank you, and here's because Robbie C will buy you a disc off of foundationdisc.com.
Well, I will give you one from my personal collection, and I'll hook you up with some swag. You will get hooked up. Like you don't have to ever worry about that. So you will be hooked up immensely if someone can help us with that.
Yeah. First person to do it too. That's the thing is, So if you're like, man, my July 4th weekend, a little slow, that'd be insane.
Not anymore.
And when you do that, if you start that document and you put their name next to the disc as well, like Joey got this, I'm just saying, because we have definitely had to go back and try to make that document before ourselves.
It's a little tedious. But yeah, we would greatly appreciate that. So without further ado, though, let's play this game, Robbie. I'm excited about this.
How do we?
It's your birthday's on the 4th, right?
It is on the 4th. Yes.
Okay. It's birthday boy first. So you go first.
Okay.
Do we want to tell people what slots we're going for first?
Yeah. So we went off of what we recommended when we built our minimalist bag. And fun enough, we actually have our guy who we were able to work with to build. He said he was going to agree to play with this for a couple weeks or for a couple months. This minimalist bag, we helped him build it. And he actually is coming back on in a couple weeks. So this is a fun little like precursor to seeing someone actually work with this bag. So, also, by the way, I didn't say that when we go out and play with our drafted bags for the later on challenge, we're going to put that on, like, we're going to film it. So that way you guys can see it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, we're saying that it is 10 discs plus your putting putters. And those 10 discs are an understable putter, a straight putter, an overstable putter, an understable mid, a straight mid, and an overstable mid, an understable fairway, a straight fairway, a distance driver, and you can take that any direction you want, as well as an overstable approach disc.
Okay.
So I am going to turn some heads here right off the bat in overstable approach. And I'm going to shock the world. The first pick of the 2023 any disc draft is going to be a zone in the overstable approach category.
That's almost, I think, mean.
In Robbie C's bag, he's taking the zone.
He's taking the zone.
You guys thought it was a pig, but then it would give it. I also was like, it'll give it away because I think we put these two bags anonymous as like, when we try to put it up as a poll.
Yeah, which bag is best? Okay, I'm going to go to understable mid and pick. I'm gonna pick the soul.
Understable mid. He's going soul. Okay, I love it. I think that is because I think that's another one that people would have thought, hey, we're taking the uplink there.
I know I was going to pick uplink or lobster, but I'm like, wait, I want this to be anonymous, and I still think the soul's a good disc.
I do think if I end up drafting if I take the uplink, people are 100% going to think that my bag is yours.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I 100%.
Okay. Well, it's snake draft. So you get two.
Oh,
And from here on
shoot.
out, it's two choices.
Okay. I'm going overstable putter. I'm going. No. Yes. I'm going envy.
Okay.
That one I'm not going to switch up.
Axiom Envy. And you have this pulled up on your phone so you can see what I'm typing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm watching it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's why Brad wasn't a shock because I typed in zone before I said it.
Yeah. I was just
to
like,
let it burn.
don't you dare. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. I'm going to take. Okay. I'm going to take straight mid. And I'm going to keep the gyro going and go with the Axiom Hex.
Okay.
For straight mid. And I am going to say straight fairway. I'm going to go with the Discraft Stalker.
Really? Okay.
Really impressed with the Stalker lately. If you guys have not thrown the Stalker, that disc is sneaky good.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go putting putters and I'm going to go P2.
Okay.
And then for understable putter, I'm going to go PA3.
Okay. The Pro Diggy.
I know some of those are pretty straight, but from my experience.
I just picked up in our used bin at our local shop. I picked up one of the new 500 plastic KJ PA3s.
Mm-hmm.
Feels really good. That is another disc. Like when I said that I'm going to play a Dune round today, I'm going to play with. It's literally going to be an Origin, a Dune, a Sensei, and a PA3. Just side by side.
Yeah. Would you consider the PA3 an understable putter, or it's more straight though?
I think to me it depends on what plastic you're talking.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm thinking like 300 is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Then I would say I'm thinking Hunter's going to have that in his bag as a turnover disc.
Okay.
Alden's going to have it in his bag. The bigger players definitely, but yeah.
Like baseline PA3. I'd also put like a premium PA5 like in that spot too. So I'm picking Prodigy either way.
Okay. Let's keep it going. I'm gonna go because see, the nice thing is if you're playing this strategically, right? Like I don't have to worry about drafting anything on that bottom half of the bag because it's already taken. Like I can take anything that isn't that.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna put Innova on the board. Distance driver, we're going Innova Wraith. Super good. And then understable fairway. Let's go with. That's a lot of Discraft if I put my disc in there.
This is looking more and more like my bag the more you like put stuff in it. So.
Yeah, well, I thought about taking the Jackalope from you, but if I put the Jackalope there, like it is guaranteed, everyone's like, "Oh, that's Brad's bag." Done.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, understable fairway. Hold on, I'm pulling up because I had an idea for one. I was just trying to remember which one I picked. Man, that is a crime that they have that disc over there.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, no, what? Okay. I'm going to put the the West Side Discs Underworld.
Underrated disc for sure.
Real flippy.
Okay. I'm going to go overstable approach, No, I don't need to even do that. I can take my time with that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go understable fairway, Sting.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
And then I'm going to go distance. No, I'm going to go straight fairway as an FD.
Okay. You want your S line FD? Or do you
Yes.
care?
I don't care. Actually, no, we're going to do, that's what we're going to do. FD.
Okay. Discmania FD. All right. Overstable mid. I am going to put a Axiom Eclipse reactor.
That was literally my next pick.
Axiom Eclipse reactor, and then straight putter. So that way we are only drafting. We're no longer. You know what? No, I'll take one. I'll let you if you want to take the steal. I'll let it exist.
Yeah. I'm not strategizing that way. I'm just like I gave up that strategy a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, people love them, and I think it's going to help this bag get picked.
For putting putters?
Yeah.
You're going to don't you dare put a Luna on there.
I am going to put the Discraft Luna. Play into the people.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right. Well, we all wait till you see Birdie Talks next week, people. That's all I got to say. All right. All right. For straight putter, I'm going Neutron Proxy.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
Again, some of these may be a little skewed. That's a very straight putter for me. Probably be a little understable for you, Robbie. So I guess maybe that's the tricky part, right?
Hey, I'm good with it. I think if people really want to get tricky with it, they can switch the PA3 and the Proxy.
Overstable mid, we're going to go with MD5.
Okay. You going with the new MD5 or are you going
new MD5? That boy is great. It made me think about my Bobcat for a second.
Okay.
It made me doubt the Bobcat.
All right. Let's throw some putters in here. I'm going to go understable putter. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and grab straight putter. And I'm going to throw the Castoplast Berg in there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, you're just okay. Everyone's going to pick your bag just because, yeah. Let's see. What are the most typed disc golf keywords? Luna, Berg, Hex, Wraith, Zone.
And then overstable putter, I'm going to say... You know what? I'm going to say the Judge. Because I think of Trevor's Judge in particular.
Yeah.
Like, that is...
Like a Lucid Judge or something. Those are very overstable.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think overstable approach Razor Claw 3.
Okay.
Distance driver is going to be that's the tricky one for me.
Yeah.
These two, straight mid and distance driver.
Yeah, because you'll have one of them is like the last pick of the draft.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it doesn't matter. You can't pick something, I guess. Yeah. But all right. Understable or straight mid. Compass.
Oh, okay. Okay. Understable putter. I'm gonna go understable putter. There's so many good options. That's the hard part here.
Swan 2 Reborn, right?
You know, big Swan 2 guy. I'm gonna make our guy Connor happy here. I'm gonna go with the Gateway Shaman.
Wow. If this isn't buying votes, I don't know what is.
Well, let's be honest. Putting a gateway disc in the bag is you're either buying votes or you're selling votes.
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
no in between.
Yeah, that's a very polarizing statement you
Yeah.
just made.
And I think the Berg easily going to be in there. And I will say, based on the fact that I put out a video yesterday of me calling the Berg disc golf's training wheels, I don't think that people will assume that I would put a Berg in the back. And then
funny.
understable mid, it's in the bag, guys. Someone's got to do it. So I will go with the MVP uplink.
Yeah, I'm regretting not doing that at this point. That would have just saved me, I think. All right, distance driver, Thunderbird. Is it technically classed as a distance driver by Innova, or is it a fairway?
Let's see what Innova calls it. Innova discs.
I think they call it a fairway, unfortunately.
Discs. I'll go fairway. See if it's there. It is not. If you go to Innova's website and click distance, the Thunderbird is listed in all of their 9 speeds are listed as distance drivers.
Yeah, and it just depends on the manufacturer. I never know, who calls what.
So,
okay, well then, yes, Thunderbird is what I'm going to put there.
Yeah, basically, I mean, this comes straight from the people listening are going to be able to justify this. So, all right. So reading down, Brad has a P2 for his putting putter, a PA3 for his understable putter, a proxy, and an Envy for his straight and overstable. Moving up to mids, he has the Soul, a Compass, and an MD5. And then drivers, he has the Sting, an FD, and a Thunderbird, as well as a Razor Claw 3 for his overstable approach disc.
Okay.
That's a good bag. I would throw that back, like, wholeheartedly.
Yeah. And now the Hype Beast bag.
Yeah, and then we have the people's bag of just all of the people. I don't care. We hit every. Yeah. We got the Luna for putting putters. We have the Shaman, the Berg, and the Judge. I'm going to be honest. That is a terrible lineup of putters. I would be bummed out. Now the mid range is
solid. Yeah.
Uplink, Hex, and a Reactor. And then drivers, we have an Underworld, a Stalker, and a Wraith. It could be argued that I have almost no stability. Like the Wraith is going to be stable, but not that much. And then for approach, we have a Zone. So
yeah. Now, I think looking at it, there's a lot of hype there. Is there a lot of quality? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not well built for success. I will say that.
Yeah, it's not a very versatile bag. I feel like, hey, if you can get past the disc that I chose, and their name, but look at what they do, not what their name is,
Yeah, judge these books by their pages.
Not the cover.
Whereas I got some sick cover art going on mine.
Oh yeah, you got like the coolest. You're like it's that's crazy. Yeah.
I'm an audiobook guy. That's what I am.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you can read me on the go. You can read me while you're playing.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. I definitely didn't strategize. I was more focused on like, wait, what disc do I want to pick? Which is probably my problem, which is probably what you see in my bag right now. But yeah, Robbie definitely played me on strategy. You definitely won the strategy game on that one.
Hey, got to. But the beautiful part is, as I'm looking at this list and knowing what you've gotten into the warehouse, the cool part is a lot of this you do have at the warehouse. So it's a beautiful transition into, Brad, what is new in the warehouse?
Well, this week we had a massive Discraft shipment come in. It'll be flowing into next week. A lot of like your, I guess, hype molds. Like we have like ESP Venoms, Passion. We didn't pick a Passion. That was a mistake. That should have been my understable fairway. Anyway, sorry. Passions, Venoms. We have Get Freaky zones. We have all other types of zones. So we've got Jawbreaker. We have like Putter Blend, ESP Flex, Z. So all those are going up. We have ESP Athena's back in stock. After it's been a long time since we've had those. We have Stings back in stock. Speaking of Stings, a lot of great molds going back up on the shelf. So as always, make sure you're checking the recently restocked section. We're putting up all the like best sellers first, but we have some other ones we haven't had, like Ringer GTs and Jawbreaker. Like we have that random disc, you know what I mean? So there's like stuff you're going to see filing in, but the heavy hitters, Putterblend Lunas are back in stock. So as we're talking about them, and then Big Z as well. So just make sure you check out all those. Mint Disc Lobster, our foundation stamp. I'll show it off here. Those came out this week as well. We still have a few of those left, so make sure you check them out before those are gone. That was kind of a one-time thing. We have all of our mint stock went up. The vanilla and the fudge released today when you're listening to this, so make sure you check those out as well. Cool Discmania lore stamps as well. So there's the FD3, MD3, the Paradigm, and P2. So that's why some of that was fresh on my mind this morning. Those lore stamps, they're very, very cool. All in C line except for the putters, obviously. So very cool there. We also have Get Freaky Sports Sacks and Get Freaky Towels now available. So those are hitting the site today as well. A lot of good stuff. As always, I keep saying it, recently restocked is your best friend. Make sure you check that out so you can check out everything. That's updated not just on Fridays, it's updated every day. So make sure you're checking back because the warehouse is constantly uploading and changing. So that's your best way to keep track of what we got going on. And again, we thank you all for purchasing and supporting us because we couldn't do any of what we do without you all shopping at foundationdisc.com. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a different one, but I thought it was a fun one. I liked our little game at the end.
Yeah. And hey, two things. Number one, happy birthday, Robbie, early because we won't get to tell you. So that's awesome. And then number two, special congratulations to you, my friend, on hitting 50,000 on Robbie C Disc Golf channel.
Dude, it was it was a wild week. We super, super grateful. I mean, I definitely cried on stream multiple times. So it was just super, super grateful for y'all. If it was not for y'all supporting and watching Robbie C for years, then I never would have had the opportunity to approach Foundation and be like, hey, can we do a podcast together? And then that leading to do you want to join the Foundation family? Like it is, I am so grateful for y'all and the impact you've had on my life and changed the trajectory there. And it is just a pleasure to be able to come and help in so many ways. And I want to say that we have a super, super special guest lined up for next week. Like it is, we've had some of my friends in disc golf on the show, and I don't know that I've been more excited for next week's guest, than we've had next week.
Yeah, very, very, very special guest. And I was inspired by this particular person, and I hope everybody that listens to next week's episode will be inspired by them. It just, there's all kinds of great people in disc golf, and this gentleman is definitely one of those people. Yeah.
So that is your spoiler, or that is your teaser for next week, not spoiler. So definitely going to want to check it out. In the meantime, if you're playing this week and you have disc battling in your bag and you find one, you're like, wow, this is so good. What do?
Yeah, you put it in the bag. We'll see you all next week.